I'm going to date myself with this popular culture reference, but who remembers the Brady Bunch episode in which middle sister Jan, feeling inferior to her older sister, utters that memorable line, Marcia, Marcia, Marcia? That episode, called Her Sister's Shadow, portrays the sibling rivalry that results from constant comparison by parents, teachers, and even ourselves. Women are especially prone to being pitted against other women, which is why the Mary Martha story of today's gospel has always rankled me. Martha, 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 Jesus seems to be saying when he praises Mary for choosing the better part, for sitting at his feet, rather than being burdened with much serving, as Martha has been. Interpretations of this story too often fall into the trap of judging one type of woman as superior in competition with other types of women. For example, women should be submissive, like Mary, who sat at the feet of Jesus. Or women should not care about the things of this world, like Martha does. Or even women should be spiritual leaders, since Mary is partaking in studying theology by learning from Jesus. Even the third, ostensibly feminist interpretation turns Jesus into someone who shames women for what seems like not only an acceptable choice, but a generous one, serving a guest. This conundrum leads many preachers to highlight the broader message that people of all genders need to pay attention to their inner as well as outer lives. Service is not bad, this interpretation says, but spiritual listening is better and maybe even a necessary precursor to effective service. Okay, but do service and spirituality have to be at odds? I'm thinking of the Buddhist practice of mindfulness, where even something like doing the dishes is a spiritual practice. I'm also thinking of the Christian virtue of hospitality, which includes not just service to others, but doing so with a welcoming heart that makes people feel like they really belong. And hospitality is not a feminine virtue. It's expected of all of us. The first reading also describes hospitality toward guests, three men who represent God. Abraham rushes to greet them, bathes their feet, and brings them food. Of course, he enlists the help of his wife Sarah and his servants in this work. The story ends with one of the guests promising Abraham a miracle, that his elderly wife will soon bear a son. This scripture is traditionally understood as being about God's faithfulness, but also about the importance of hospitality. Given the importance of service and hospitality in the Jewish scriptures and in other teachings of Jesus, how are we to make sense of the Mary Martha story? Biblical scholar Mary Stromer Hansen has deconstructed the traditional interpretations in a way that offers a more consistent understanding. Her translation of the Greek says that Mary is also one who sits at the feet of Jesus. In other words, a student of Jesus. The biblical author is thus not contrasting Mary and Martha, but rather describing both of them as disciples. And when Martha complains about Mary not helping, Stromer Hansen believes the assumption is that Mary is out doing the work of a disciple and not returning home to help Martha with her guest. Jesus's words affirm that Mary is choosing something good, according to her translation, not necessarily something better, as some translations say. Jesus is not pitting the two women against one another or shaming Martha for her service, which is described with the Greek word diakonia, the root of the English word deacon. Let us thank Mary and Martha, whose feast days are celebrated on July 29th, for modeling the significance of hospitality and discipleship for all Christians, not just women. There's no need for sibling rivalry.